Hello. Hope you guys can all see me. I'm just going to wait for a little bit to have people join. I'm also going to log into my Facebook group. And just so I can keep track of who messages and leave any comments. I really want today to be very interactive. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you guys all are too. Just gonna wait for a couple of people to join before I begin. But hopefully you guys can see my screen. If you guys are just joining right now, I am using StreamYard to go live here. So please feel free to give StreamYard permission to show your name. Otherwise, when you do leave a comment, I won't be able to see who actually comments below. All right, still gonna wait for a little bit. How's everyone doing? Also, as you're coming in, I would love to know where you're coming in from, where you are from. Let me know. I want this to be very interactive. I'm very excited. That's why I called the workbook an action guide. So please let me know. You would have received, I've been posting a link for you to download your action guide. It'd be amazing if you can follow along with us, and that way you could retain your information a lot more easier. You retain like 70% of information when you write things down. So let me know. If not, then Daisy, maybe you can just drop the guide so people can follow along on their phone or their computer. So excited to host this live event. So I call this Self-Care Reboot. And even though, you know, it's mastering your motivation, a lot of things that we do to take care of ourselves, sometimes we feel like we need that extra push or that extra motivation, and it doesn't always come naturally. So oftentimes we wonder why that is the case, and we end up kind of going into this like negative thought pattern, and it might actually stop us in our tracks to do some of the things that we want to do, some of the things that actually make us feel good. And I call some of the daily habits my version of self-care. To me, that is self-care, the things that make us feel good and the things that make us happy. So if you guys are just joining now, don't forget to comment below, let me know, say hello so that I'm not just talking to the camera here. And I see people are joining on right now, so I'm so excited. Let me know where you're joining from. So I would love to hear from you, and I want us to spend time to kind of do things together. So if you don't have the action guide, you could also just, you know, use any pad of paper or a pen. And then we can get started. So the reason why I wanted to do this masterclass is because I was really inspired by the fact that we're all home a lot more these days, and, you know, doing the things that we need to do when things are very structured is easier for us to do because we are very familiar with our routine. But when things are thrown off at us and they become kind of unpredictable, that's kind of where it gets a little bit tricky. And we begin to sort of, you know, lose motivation that we might have like once had. And, you know, I was having this discussion with my husband, Adam, who some of you may or may not know, and we're big gym people, and we were motivated by the gym and having a place to kind of go to and from. But now that we're home, it takes a lot more motivation to kind of get ourselves out of bed. And when, you know, we don't really have to commute anymore, or, you know, it tends to be something that we could easily put off. So motivation is definitely something that, you know, I also talk about with my clients as well. It's also a question that I get often about how to stay motivated. And here's the thing, there's a little secret when it comes to motivation, and you may or may not have heard this, but motivation is obviously something that is fleeting. It doesn't last. It's not made to last either. You know, with everything that's going on in our lives right now, it's hard for us to kind of be motivated like 24/7. So it's important for us to recognize that it is something that is fleeting. Oh, I see the comments coming in, which is amazing. Hello. Hi, Yota. Thank you, Daisy, for dropping the action guide. Hi, Nart. Hi, Lara. So excited. Amazing. Yeah, so it's hard for us to kind of do the things we need to do. So, I get that question a lot. So that's why I want to dive in and talk about a little bit of the maybe the mythbusters and how we can kind of get into inspired action and how we can keep that motivation going. And the secret of that I'll reveal a bit later, but it's not just all motivation. There's more to it than that. And everything in this masterclass, we're going to build up to it. Okay. So I'm guessing if you feel like this is you, let me know. But if you got into a car after a long day of like work, if you're still commuting, you head, to your couch instead of maybe the gym. Or maybe there are days where you keep waking up, hitting the snooze button in the morning, and you don't end up actually getting up for that workout or waking up at that time that you really wanted to wake up. Or maybe you've like secretly felt like you don't, have what it takes to transform your body and health. And I'm guessing if you answered yes to any of these, that you're here for a reason. So, working out, eating right, all those things, they actually require time, energy, effort, discipline, dedication, patience, all those things. And life is always going to find ways to interfere with our intentions and distract us. So here's the truth, okay? And I want this masterclass to make you feel good about where you're at right now. We want to make sure that our expectations are reasonable because it doesn't get easier. We just have to get better. And this masterclass, I'm hoping, will be kind of the stepping stone, to helping you feel that way, about everything that you're going through right now. We're already going through so many different things in our lives right now. So we do not need the extra stressor of feeling like we're not doing good enough. Because of course we are. The fact that you're here right now, you're doing wonderful. So that's amazing. And I want you to recognize that, how great that is. And I know some of you who cannot catch the live, it's 8 o'clock my time here in Toronto. I know some people that message me that it's the middle of the night and they can't, and that's okay. You're going to watch the replay. You're going to get into that inspired action one way or another, because this is something that does come up very often. So let's face it, life can be hard. And I just know that, sometimes it's so much easier to say, why bother with it? I just want to give up. It's easier. But let's find that switch together of what that is so that we don't give up, so that we don't say, okay, what's the point? Because you'll come to realize that the only thing standing in your way is actually yourself. Okay? So I want us to kind of just like unhook those thoughts in our minds that, it may be something else that's external that's causing us to feel like we can't get something done, because we totally can. And the reason why I love talking about motivation is because it is such a valuable skill. It is, because everything that we do in life touches upon motivation, touches upon whether we feel it or we don't feel it. It's the difference between doing one thing over another. It's the difference between achieving your goals and not achieving your goals, or, going after that dream life that you want, or feeling a particular way, right? Otherwise, who would want to put up with all the hard work? You got to want to achieve it. You got to want to master it, because, all the stuff is there. We're always going to be throwing things that we don't want to do. So how do we get past that? That is the number one question, right? So, all right. So if we haven't had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Jeannie Aegis, and I'm from Canada. So I'm here in Mississauga here right now, and I'm a healthy lifestyle expert. I'm a self-care coach. I'm a holistic wellness mentor. I'm also the founder of Self-Care Journey Coaching. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 2 really rambunctious toddlers. And I'm your host today to create massive momentum during such inconsistent times. And my passion is to help purpose-driven women and self-sabotage, the things that pop into our head that really stop us in our tracks from doing what we want to do, and keep them from creating the life of their dreams. Keep them from, building that strong, healthy, confident mind, body, and create a healthy lifestyle they're obsessed with. And if you're wondering why you should be listening to me and why we're about to spend roughly 60 minutes together or so, you don't have to take anything that I say seriously. Like, anything that I talk to you about, you're wondering, like, why? Well, you shouldn't. You don't have to. But what I'm going to share with you has really helped me throughout the years and has really shifted the way I think about things, and is the reason why I've built the things that I have or achieved the goals that I have. And the last 5 years, I've probably accomplished more than I have before that. And I'm not saying this to like show off or anything like that. I'm saying because when you put your goals in front of you and you find that hook that keeps you motivated and keeps you consistent, it's amazing. And I know you are all capable of finding that in anything that you do. Because we all, it's not just about, our career or certain expectations. I'm talking about even like the day-to-day things, the tasks. Like I've been on repeat cleaning my kitchen like multiple times. After every single meal, my kids are there and they're just, hi Emily, hi Priyanka. So happy you guys are joining us. I'm literally on repeat cleaning the kitchen, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to keep doing it. But there's obviously something in my head that just keeps doing it, right? Because what do I want? I want a clean house, right? I don't want to be in filth. I want, when I have a clean house, I have a clear mind, and that's what I want to focus on. So that is that switch for certain things in our life. So if you're, I've also had my struggles growing up. So even beyond like the last 5 years, I've really kept myself stuck on certain things. I lacked motivation. Maybe I was unable to kind of make the progress that I wanted or envisioned for myself at one point. I had a point in my life where I felt stuck for like 5 years. And I've experienced my own battles with food, with motivation, with working out, feeling happy in my body, especially having 2 kids, despite having a busy lifestyle. And I used to also beat myself up. I used to, just let things get to me very easily. And probably it was one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about kind of helping women end that self-sabotage, because a lot of it is what we tell ourselves in our mind that keeps us stuck. So, I doubted myself, and I probably worried more than I needed to. But through the years of like trial and error, I was able to really break through of those limiting beliefs and eating disorder tendencies and guilt over time, shame over my body. There's so many different things, and I was able to really achieve a lot of the things that I wanted to do. And also, not only that, but that inspired me to also help other women as well do the same thing, because I truly believe that all of us have superpowers and we can thrive and do the things that we need to do, and that we can do hard things, right? Like we can totally do hard things. We just have to learn to take care of ourselves in the process. If we're going to be constantly giving things to other people, we have to always come back to what are our needs. Because what happens if we have unfulfilled needs, it ends up showing in other places. We end up being irritable. We end up feeling unhappy. We feel unfulfilled. We feel like we just aren't enough. We're maybe on that hamster wheel going nowhere, right? So, let me know in the comments, does this resonate with you? Do you feel like you're on this hamster wheel? Is motivation something that you feel like, that has brought up some thoughts for you, right? And it's okay. We've all been there. That's the thing. We've all been in this spot before. So I want to tell you what you guys can expect from today, right? So drop me a comment below that you're ready. Let me know that you're ready, right? And the simple way to instantly increase your willpower and self-discipline in any situation, I want you to be able to learn a simple technique for beating procrastination, for jumping into inspired action. I want you to have the action steps so you can start and stay motivated and consistent. So let me know, comment below if you feel like you can, let me know that you're ready, right? Like, and are you ready to get unstuck? Are you ready to get unstuck right now? And my goal is to help you get a bit unstuck, right? It's not going to obviously happen overnight, but at least we can kind of create that stepping stone right now. So the problem is when you are feeling stuck, you tend to lose sight of the big picture and you end up worrying far, far beyond more than you need to. And what is worry? Worry is things that haven't happened yet. Things that we borrow stress in a way because they haven't happened yet, but we're worried about something that's going to happen in the future based on something that happened in the past. And so sometimes that is what keeps us stuck and possibly unmotivated to carry out what we need to do to achieve our goals. So my goal is to help you get unstuck and to do one simple thing right now. You know, if there's something that comes to your mind right now, what is that one thing that you've been stuck on that would make a huge difference in your life? Now, you don't have to stop and do it right now, but like think about it. Think about that one thing that you've been putting off time and time again. And ask yourself why you've been putting it off. Go ahead. You can think about it a little bit. You know, what's this one task? And if you were to complete it, it would free up your mind the most. Because have you ever had a task where you thought about it continuously, right? And you just can't get past it. But once you do, what happens after that? It's like a domino effect. And everything just boom, 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 boom gets done. That's the magic of momentum. So I don't want this class to be shelf help. I don't want it to be something that you just kind of like read over or something that you just listen to and be like, okay, yeah, you know what, I'll do it. I'll do it later. No, because we don't want that either, right? So you don't have to think about all the things that you have to do. You just have to think about that one thing that would make a difference in terms of how you are going to feel. And I would, move on that, right? Like use that as your greatest motivator, right? Tony Robbins once said that emotion is energy in motion, right? So I want you all to participate in the exercises. Would be lovely if you did that. And, also, comment here below, let me know what your thoughts are and write things down. Like I said, you retain 70% information. So let's go and build this momentum together. So remember, you're not going to master the rest of your life in just one day. So just relax, right? Master the day, then just keep doing that every single day. When was the last time you remember that you had like this huge project at work or this huge project at school and it just was daunting, and the idea of it just is something that you just want to put up because you don't even want to think about it, because as soon as you're thinking about it, you start to clench up, you start to get stressed, you start to kind of be stopped in your tracks. And it happens because we tend to put so much pressure on ourselves to do everything perfectly when, what we should focus on is breaking it down and completing little steps at a time. So if you currently feel like your motivation has been up and down, especially with COVID, or you're feeling stuck, or perhaps you haven't found the motivation to work on your side business or, stay on track, we can't expect to be fully motivated all the time. Everybody has different circumstances, right? So if you lack that motivation, don't worry. We're just getting started. When you feel stuck, we tend to amplify things and we lose sight of the bigger picture. And it feels as though it's so difficult for us to move past it. And if you're regularly beating yourself up, I encourage you to accept where you are in your current situation, right? I always tell my clients that I'm gonna always meet you where you are. You don't have to go from A to Z. You just have to start where you are. And from there, find what works, build those small, consistent action, and just do those every single day, right? This will only, if you constantly tell yourself things that you're not doing, like, oh, I should have folded the laundry. Like, laundry is the one thing that keeps coming back in my life. I gotta tell you, like, my husband and I, we have a system when it comes to our laundry, and what we do is he would be the person who would always put it in to the washer and dryer, and then once it's out, he'll bring the basket upstairs, and I'm in charge of putting it all away. And that's our system in our house. And I got to tell you, every single time I finish putting it away, and I have this like system in my head that I want to start the week with, like, having everything folded, it keeps coming back. The laundry basket of full unfolded laundry keeps coming back. Like, let me know, like, does this sound like any one of you? Like, do you feel the same way? Because, yeah, and sometimes it doesn't get done. Sometimes I go into the week and it's still there. Sometimes my laundry is unfolded for like days on end. But and in the past, I have kept myself thinking like, oh, why didn't I do it? I should have did it. But instead, now I am quicker at self-soothing myself. And having the ability to self-soothe yourself is a skill that will take time and take practice. But be aware of that, try not to, like, when you are aware of what comes through in your mind, you stop it. You say, it's okay, I'm going to get to it today, or I'm going to get to it tomorrow, so that you don't spend days on end or hours on end or however long it takes you to get out of that funk. You're able to self-soothe. It happens also in relationships. If you get into a fight, right? If you're stuck in that negative energy and you're like still really upset, sometimes I get really upset quickly, but then like I come out of it. I try to tell myself, like, you know what, I overreacted, and I could choose to like be upset over it, or I can choose to, tends to be my husband right now, but tell my husband that, like, I was wrong, or, maybe I overreacted. So your ability to self-soothe makes a huge difference here. So here's our first exercise. So building momentum, like I said, is magic, right? So how can we build momentum? So if you're feeling like stuck or overwhelmed right now, your mind might be really cluttered. Maybe you have unfinished business. Maybe you have unnecessary worries. Maybe you have unproductive tasks that aren't done, or like distractions or unclear goals. So motivation actually comes from the mind. So this one is one of the main reasons you can either find it easily or find it really hard to motivate yourself. And if you can conquer your own emotions, then there's nothing standing in your way. I want you to take, a few breaths in, okay? In through your nose and out through your mouth. I want you to relax, okay? Because I know even as I'm talking about this topic, I'm sure you guys are thinking about all the things that you didn't get done. So I don't want you to do that. Instead, I want you to shift your energy into thinking about the things that you've actually accomplished, the things you've actually overcome, the things that you actually did really well, right? Instead of thinking about what you didn't get done, think about what you did get done. Did you get your walk in? Amazing. Did you get outside? Amazing. Did you get in your stretch? Amazing. Those are all amazing things that we tend to forget about, and we as humans don't spend enough time celebrating those mini wins. We often think that we have to accomplish something huge, like a big goal, in order to celebrate. But that is absolutely not the truth, right? Because all those little things also help us build momentum so that we can continue doing those things. If we don't celebrate the little things that we do, then what is the point of doing it? And so I want you to remember, the next time a negative thought comes into your mind about the things that you haven't done, quickly shift it and do something about thinking about it in a way where it's positive reinforcement. That usually will help shift your energy. All right. Okay. So I hope if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to also ask any questions here. I would love to do some live workshopping as well. I see a few new faces here. So hello, hello. I'm so excited for you joining. So here, we want to declutter. So, I mean, if you have a pen and paper here too, you can also write notes here. It's important for you to start thinking about the areas that you actually want to declutter, right? This includes both your physical and your mental space. So the benefits of decluttering maybe your desk, your room, especially right now with us being home a lot more, there could be a crossover between where you sleep and where you work. So also having a very definitive space for you to concentrate on one thing to another is very helpful. It helps preserve the energy. So, you sleep where you should be sleeping, you work where you should be working, you eat where you should be eating, whereas people are working where they are eating, or maybe eating where they should be, I don't know, sleeping, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, but we should preserve the energy by trying to stick to our parameters, right? So a cluttered space usually means a cluttered mind, right? Unless you're like the other percentage of people that, works well with chaos, right? I know my cousin was telling me that like her desk is always really messy, and she would always tell me that like she works really well when it's kind of like that, right? That's how she works. And so everyone's a little bit different. So find obviously what works for you. But, find ways that you can like start decluttering your desk. And that way you can, like I said, like have some sort of organizational system in place so that you feel better. Perform a mind dump. Now, this is also really good for productivity. And I have my clients perform a mind dump where they write down every single task they actually have to perform and schedule it in. There are so many things that are happening in our mind, and we tend to have it all up here, and we think that we're just this container that can help us just, organize everything. And what ends up happening is that we don't have enough space to kind of bring in new information when we're worrying about all the things that are kind of a little bit in chaos mode in our mind. So it's important for us to write things down and start to just like look at the appointments, or look at the task, or look at the to-dos that you have to do. And literally, like, maybe you'll start to notice, like, maybe you'll have like the business, or you'll have the personal, or you'll have, the family appointments, and just go through everything and schedule it into your calendar. The best way that I would recommend is to have everything in your calendar. Like, if it's not on my calendar, like, it's not getting done. And it's easy to kind of like, calendar in like the appointments and things like that. But I'm talking about like I have calendar. I use this technique called calendar blocking, where my calendar is blocked based on the time frame it would take me to do something. So for example, I have my morning mastery routine. So I'm huge on having a morning routine. I'm huge on having a night routine. I call it the bookends of my day, right? The start and the finish, and they both go very well. They both go hand in hand. So how you start your day and how you finish the day, if you end your night well, and you end it with planning a few things out for the next day and then morning, you'll start your morning on a productive foot. So when it comes to my morning mastery, I literally will block, so I wake up, my family, we wake up kind of early here. So like I'll set my alarm for like 5 to 7. That's my morning mastery routine. 7 to 9 will be like, breakfast, hanging out with the kids. I'll chunk it down, and then like I'll have like dedicated work time, or, I'll have my most important task that I complete before 12 o'clock. And that's also what will help give me that momentum. So take some time. I don't want to, because it's a live masterclass, it's kind of hard for us to set like a timer on it. But if you have this in front of you, if you have the action guide in front of you, write down things that that have been in your mind that are cluttering up and taking up space, and write them down. Write them down. And I invite you to also start to bucket them into what you can chunk as a task and put it in your calendar. And you can color code it. You can, do whatever makes it feel easier for you to know that at a certain time, you'll do it. And it gives you that flexibility. So you're not like to the T, right? Like, got to finish breakfast by 7:30. No, like it will give you that flexibility, and that might help organize your thoughts a little bit more. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know if this is something that, let me just refresh and make sure I'm not missing any comments or anything. All right. Again, so excited for having you guys join me. It's amazing. I'm very excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So I want us to have kind of like a self-awareness assessment of ourselves. And, you know, oftentimes we don't know what we don't know. And we go through life kind of doing things a little bit on autopilot without stopping and thinking, did that work or not? Is this serving me? Is this going to move the needle for me? Is this what I love? Is this what I don't love? Because awareness is key. Do you spend too much of your time worrying about things that you cannot change? How often do you do that? Do you worry about things in the future? Right? So these are important questions to kind of ask yourself as you're building that self-awareness. We are, you know, very busy. We're all very busy women in this group, right? And we all have tons of things and multitudes of hats that we wear. So it's very easy for us to fall into that. But even, you know, scheduling that self-reflection time for us to kind of ask us whether it is helping us or hindering us is a good key. So spend a couple of minutes and just reflect on that fact. And, you know, the only thing that is real is right now, right? Realize that the future is a construction of our mind. It's just a concept. You know, it's not reality. So no matter how much you worry about tomorrow, it's not going to change anything. And how often do you spend your time thinking about something in the future? And spend some time thinking about what the present version of you wants. You don't need to carry the weight of your past or be responsible for your future. You just have to learn to let it go and realize that all you have to do is worry about the present and what you can do in this present moment, and the fact that you're doing the best that you can in this present moment. If you let your thoughts from the past get to you, if you let, you know, what you feel like your future self is going to do, those thoughts are not going to serve you, right? They're not going to be what will help you and get you into that inspired mode, right? And, you know, a few daily habits or self-care, I like to call it, that you can stick to over, you know, a course of time will really transform your life. So let me know if you guys are doing any of these right now. I'm just checking the live again. And yeah, so a few of the self-care habits that I always recommend is, you know, reading 10 pages of a book. You know, I am really big on personal development. There's so many books I could probably recommend to you. So if you don't have a book in mind that you could think of, send me a DM. I have tons of books that I could recommend. This one is my favorite by far right now. I am reading it right now. Atomic Habits, which I just love, by James Clear. So many books I'm reading. And yeah, so it's daunting because there's so many books I want to read, and you know, sometimes I don't get to it. But I say to myself, okay, I'm going to do the best I can. You know, some days I might only just read a page, or some days I might just read 5 pages. It's okay, right? At least I'm getting something done. Another thing is setting goals. You know, I think that oftentimes we are doing things without really realizing what we're doing it for. And setting these clear goals will help us create, you know, those healthy boundaries so that we have clarity on what we're saying yes to and what we're saying no to. Another practice I absolutely love is to meditate. Now, meditating is something that is, you know, I can't say that I adopted it immediately and was just like blown away by it. Like, I heard people talk about meditation and I tried really hard to get into it. But the last couple of years, really, you know, I got into some really inspired action, and I started researching a lot more about it. And, you know, it's not so much about Like for me, for example, it's all about being mindful and being present in the moment and not letting my mind kind of wander, right? So even when I run sometimes, I use that as my form of a walking or running meditation. It's for me to be by myself, alone with my own thoughts. That's when the best ideas come in my mind. But oftentimes, if you don't have time to meditate and you are not sitting alone in your own thoughts, you can't listen to what you want. You're listening to what other people around you want. So meditating is something that is, if you are new to it as well, there's tons of apps out there, like the Calm app, YouTube has things like that. I can also share an audio with you that I did about, I created one for energy healing and for manifestation. I can also send you. That's a good one. Another thing is practicing gratitude. Now, I love leveraging gratitude. I actually also was interviewed for an article in Authority Magazine for it. I believe that creating and leveraging a gratitude is so important for us to always fall back on, especially during tough times. And when you wake up in the morning and you think about the things that you're grateful for and the things that you cannot live without, it changes how you view the entire day. Your energy completely shifts. Even at nighttime, before you go to sleep, right? Because what you think about last is what you tend to think about as soon as you wake up. So this could literally be as simple as having a Post-it note and putting it on your phone next to you and asking yourself, like, what am I grateful for today? And just doing that. Like, what am I grateful for? And that way, as soon as you wake up, that's like the first thing you think about. Another thing is you can always definitely get a journal from Amazon or from any other place that has it, where there's one that I actually really do love from them and I send it as a gift to my clients is you write down like 3 things that you're thankful for every single day when you wake up. And it's really simple, right? It doesn't take up too much time where you feel like, okay, especially if you're new to journaling. So self-reflection, I mentioned that as well. And then exercising every single day. Like for me, the one thing that has really shifted since I became a mom was that, time, I used to have a lot of time to work out and do the things I needed to do. But since becoming a mom, my time has really changed. It's really changed for me. So I had to be really intentional with my time. And for me, the one thing that really made a difference in my life and in my day was exercising every single day. So that was the one thing that not only, like before when I was younger, it was more like, to look a certain way or, I always would look at these magazines and these like, women on the magazines like super fit and ripped. But now it's completely different. Now for me, exercising has to do with my mental health. It has to do with my mood, has to do with my productivity levels, has to do with my agility, my energy levels, my stress. There's so many things that is tied to exercise, which is why for me, if I don't get it in, it changes it. I just feel off, right? And of course, there are days I don't feel like doing it. There are days that I probably could sleep in a little bit more. I probably, could spend my time doing something else that, was urgent, so to speak. But I choose to exercise because of the bigger picture, right? And sometimes we lose sight of what our goals are, like I said. And if you're not clear on what your goals are, then it's hard for you to stay focused on what you need to do. So what is that one single habit that would make a huge difference in your day? And I want you, after this masterclass, to do exactly that. Whatever it is, do that one thing that would make a huge difference. Okay, let me know if you guys have questions. I see more people are joining. Hello. So excited. Hi, Allison. Hello. So excited to have you guys join. All right. So another one is a little bit of a challenge for me. Okay. So saying no is something, it took me quite some time to work on. I really had a very different perception of what saying no and saying yes was. I am admittedly a yes girl. I say yes to everything. Like I like to have my hands in like multiple jars. I always I was that girl that, I was 7 weddings in 7 years. I was in like wedding parties, said yes to everything. And I would have multiple events. I would go to it. I'd be at one event and like go to 3 in one day, I have some of my girlfriends here. They could probably, you know, they could attest to that. And yeah, so what was happening was that I had a lack of understanding of what saying yes means. Because whenever you're saying yes to something, you're actually saying no to something else. And when I became more busy, I had to really be intentional with my time. I really had to create those healthy boundaries, which is another thing about self-care, right? Self-care is not just, you know, for me, I call self-care daily habits. That's my version of what I call self-care habits, but it's also doing the things that are going to be uncomfortable, which is creating those unhealthy boundaries. And I had to really create those boundaries when I became a mom, because time was just less of my control, right? Because things would come up that I couldn't control. And I'm like a very type A, you know, very like a little bit of a control freak, so to speak. So when things are, you know, I couldn't plan for it anymore. I really had to, like I said, take advantage of the bookends of my day and make sure that I plan it, but also create that healthy boundary with others so that I avoid burnout. Because, you know, especially with, you know, I have all these goals for myself that I want to achieve, but if I say yes to all these different things, and I also want to fulfill all these goals and dreams of mine, then it is going to lead to burnout, because you're going to really be burning the candle at both ends. So remember that, you know, nobody is actually entitled to your time, right? I had to learn this, especially when, you know, the last couple of years, you know, being at home, you know, yes, it freed up my time, but then I started finding things to say yes to, and I started putting more things on my plate. So it's not even like people were asking me to do things. I was just filling up because I was so used to it. But I had to learn this like in another way, right? I had to actually refocus and really map out what are the things I'm saying yes to and what are the things I'm saying that I want to say no to, but I'm saying yes to, right? So take a look at the action guide. You know, I created a space for you here. I want you to think about, there's 3 columns, okay? Think about the things that you said yes to. Think about the things you wanted to say yes or no to, and why couldn't you say no? Really dig deep into why you couldn't say no to those things. This will give you a better idea of the things you need to work on. And that's why self-reflection and journaling is important, right? So that we can really find out why we couldn't say no to it, or why we feel bad about it, right? And so as you're thinking about that, you know, I want us to kind of go through like how to say no. Because this one was something that I had to learn the hard way as well. And saying no is something that often gave me guilt. I felt like, oh, am I being a bad friend if I didn't go to that? Are they going to be offended? Are they going to be mad? Like all these thoughts would always come in my mind. And again, that was me like just speaking about things and letting it kind of just run through me. So yeah. So ask yourself this, like how do you say no to things? So I learned that you just got to start small, right? You just got to, like, you know, maybe it's turning down a small favor that your friend asked you to do. Maybe it's declining. Well, I mean, obviously with COVID, it's easier to say no, like, it's just like events, because we don't really have any right now. But, you know, when things normalize again and we, you know, get back to normal again, we're going to have things that are going to come up in our calendar that we may have to say no to. And believe me, it is, I'm still working on it, to be honest with you. Like, and I think that's what it's important to realize, that it is work in progress. It's not like, oh, I got to a point where, like, you know, I've said no to all these different things. Things are always going to change, but it's how we are flexible to all these different changes and how we can adjust and adapt. So when things come up, and if you do really have something like a passion project you're working on that would take some time from you, then say no to it. You know, before this became my career, it was a passion project for me, and it would, you know, kind of go lower and lower on the list because it was something that I felt like, oh, okay, I can control, I can just push it off and do it later. But what happens if you keep pushing off things that become later is that you don't end up doing it. So it's important to realize that, you know, whatever you're saying yes to, you're also saying no to something that you're achieving in your life in terms of your goals. So clarifying what your goals are and, really being intentional with your time is important. Another thing is to not overthink, right? Not to over justify yourself. There's ways that you can go about it where you can say certain things without offending other people, right? Or, you're likely not even offending other people. Like, people probably understand, right? They're not even thinking what you're thinking. But you can say that, I'm sorry, I promised my kid that I would be somewhere and I don't want to disappoint them. Or you can say that, right now I'm entirely focused on my passion project right now, and I just, I just can't make it, or something, right? So, another thing is you can always practice it. And as you can tell, I probably need a little bit of practice there. It's obviously something that doesn't come easy to me, to be honest with you, right? It really doesn't come easily to me. So it's something that I really do have to practice. And of course, there are people that like I can't say no to, and like this is just me personally, and you'll know what works for you, right? So another thing is to practice like other alternatives. So you don't have to say no completely, but you can definitely also schedule a time where you can maybe do something else, right? I can't right now, but I can, maybe, schedule a Zoom call tomorrow or something, right? Just, be in control of your time, be in control of your schedule, be in control of your life, right? This is your time. It's important for people to understand that, right? So, really own it, really own your time. So I hope that helps and gave you a little bit of pointers with that. But, let me know if you guys have any other questions as we're going through this. Yes, Crystal, and absolutely being intentional with time is huge. Yes, I know, ladies. I'm seeing some of the comments come through. Definitely agree that laundry it's like Groundhog Day all the time with the kitchen and all that stuff. Yes, master your day. I love that. I love that you guys are here. I love it. Yes. All right. So let's keep moving along. Okay. So another favorite one of mine is that your time is valuable. So we want to be able to free it up as much as we can to do more of the things that we want to do in our life, to build that momentum and to create that motivation in our lives, right? So you can always, what are the things that here I gave you like some boxes to fill out, but what are like things that you don't like doing, right? What are the things that are your least favorite? And I could already tell from this conversation that it sounds like it's like washing dishes, work, laundry, for sure. All those things, absolutely. All those things are definitely my least favorite. At least like the laundry part, the never-ending laundry part, for sure. But sometimes like we should really remove the tasks that we're doing reluctantly. And this goes back to decluttering, right? To declutter your schedule and to reduce stress, it is also essential for you to remove the tasks that don't serve you. They don't really help you. Like, it's one of those things where like, if I do it or not do it, it really wouldn't make or break the bank or anything like that, right? Something that I recommend is to, this is something I do or think about often. I did a YouTube video on it too, but you could either eliminate it, you could delegate it, or you can automate your task, right? Those are the three things. Every single time, like, there are things that come up that you don't like doing. What is something that you can do one of those three things? And I'm going to give you some real life examples. So when it comes to eliminating them, so things that I've eliminated actually. So I was a huge TV show junkie. So again, some of my girlfriends who are on here who are on the live right now, thank you so much for joining. Could attest to the fact that I used to like watch a lot of TV shows, and it's nothing wrong with it. Like I love TV shows, but I would like get into this mode where I would like binge watch some shows, and it really was obviously taking up a lot of my time. So especially the last several years, I really eliminated watching TV. So I would save it for in the evening time when I'm unwinding with my husband. I would save it for if, the weekend, and I, put aside work, I put aside certain things, and we have like a movie night. But I wouldn't be sitting there, binge watching like hours. And well, don't get me wrong, sometimes I do. Sometimes I still do. But I will eliminate most of the time not watching hours and hours on end of television. That's right. And I would also eliminate me on social media. So I know that I'm on social media for work, so that's different, right? Because I'm on it with intention. But when it comes to just like mindlessly scrolling your newsfeed, like how many of us do that? Like literally, like we don't mean to, like we just pick up our phone, like we want to check an email or two, or we want to check a text, and we end up, oh, so-and-so messaged us, or so-and-so comment, or, you know, this or that, right? We end up kind of like looking through our phone, and an hour goes by. It is so dangerous. And in the morning, what I do now is I try not to sleep with my phone. I try to have it in another room if I have to, because as soon as I look at my phone, my entire morning is gone. And if I only have like half an hour of intentional workout time in the morning and I miss it just because I was on the phone or anything like that, it is going to literally affect my entire day, right? So yeah, so I eliminate that, those are the two examples. Like what are examples for you of things that you eliminate, that you could eliminate in your day-to-day? Like, you know, maybe it doesn't have to be like if you love watching, you know, television, maybe it's not that, like maybe it's something else. So think about what you can actually eliminate. Now, another thing is to delegate, right? What is of your least favorite tasks? What are some things that you can delegate? For an example, like I'm very OCD when it comes to cleaning. So I'm constantly cleaning, but there are some things in my house I hate cleaning, okay? And also, even though I'm cleaning every day, there are places that I just can't get to, like, you know, the what do you call it? The borders at the bottom, or like my railing or my mirrors and all that stuff. So one of the things that I delegate is the cleaning. So I'll delegate cleaning maybe like once or twice a month or something. Obviously things have changed a little bit recently, but you know, I'll delegate that because I just, you know, it doesn't make or break. Like I used to have a schedule before where I would like vacuum bathroom like every other week. And it would take up most of my Saturday or most of my Sunday or such that, you know, but if someone else is doing that, then I could spend 5 hours doing something else. That's huge, right? So that's something that I can delegate. And I also don't like washing like toilets or anything like that. So I'm okay delegating that, right? So that's something that I delegate. So another thing that I suggest is automate. So currently I don't really have a ton of examples when it comes to automating. The only thing that I could think of in my life that I automate, and let me know if you guys like do this right now at home, like what are some of the things that you guys delegate, automate, like, what is it that you guys do? I'm just reading some of the comments in case I missed anything. I have an air fryer. So I automate my cooking as much as I can, right? Because you don't have to think about it. You set it and forget it. You don't have to like be on it, over the stove, stirring anything. Doesn't really necessarily need you to be present at that time. So that's what I do, right? So same thing, like maybe there's something else that you could think of that you automate that you would normally take up a lot of your time, okay? So write those down if you guys have those ideas of what they are, and maybe you can, you know, start eliminating, delegating, and automating. All right, so this is, I want to introduce a rule to you, and I read this in one of the books that I've read, one of my personal development books, which is Master Your Motivation, which is the inspiration for this workshop, or sorry, this masterclass, by Thibaut Maurice, and to apply the 80-20 principle, okay? So think about this. According to this principle, 20% of the things you do bring, that you do, well, let me try that again. 20% of the things you do they bring you 80% of your results? Okay? 20% of the things that you do they bring you 80% of your results? If so, what are the 20% of your tasks that you do that produce 80% of the results? Whether it be health, your well-being, your finances, your social life, what is it that actually brings you those results? Which few things can you focus on to bring you better results with less time and effort, right? Because those are the things that are going to be that are gonna be what I call like your productive tasks, right? The things that are going to give you the most results so that it gives you the most momentum so that you continue to do the things that you don't necessarily always want to do. And if you focus on a few tasks with the highest positive impact and work on those every single day and work on those anything before you do anything else, you'll become far more productive than most people. And this is what you need to prioritize before you implement anything else. Okay? Let me know if you guys understood that, right? So what are some of the tasks that you're doing, like 20% of your tasks that produce 80% of your results? Because those are the things that you should be focusing on, right? Because those are the things that are going to give you the most bang for your buck, so to speak, right? So I'm going to give you some time, write it down. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So really the name of the game here is motivation is fleeting. Motivation is something that's like, it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. Now, where it is sustainable and where we can actually achieve results is when we build in discipline. When we do the things that we do really well, that gives us those 80% results, but we do it consistently. And once we do it consistently, that self-care or those daily habits become habits. It becomes things that we do automatically that we don't normally, would have to think about. Just like how we normally wouldn't think about waking up in the morning and brushing our teeth because it's already ingrained in our lifestyle, right? We don't have to think about those things anymore. We just have to do them. And so that's going to be the same thing when it comes to this. You're gonna find little things that are gonna keep you going, right? That work with you, that's gonna produce those results to give you momentum so that you're productive with your time. And then you're gonna just continue doing them consistently. So I wanted to take a moment just to reconnect with what you really love to do. So this is the part where we reignite that spark in us, right? The things that we really love doing. So a quote that I heard from my favorite podcast, On Purpose by Jay Shetty. I absolutely love him. And like, he is who I run to every single day, like in terms of when I go running outside. Like I'm always listening to his podcast and I'm always like, he's one of the reasons also why like I'm like, I want to do what he does and, make an impact. And, his goal is to make wisdom go viral and to educate in a way that is entertaining, right? So I just love what he does. And he said that we live in a world of like echo chambers, right? And he referenced a quote by Cooley, and it says, I am not who you think I am. I am not who I think I am. I am who I think you think I am. Let me know if you understood that. I am not who you think I am. I am not who I think I am. I am who I think you think I am. So how many of us do things that are expected of us, right? But not something we actually do. It's not surprising that we end up kind of feeling stuck or unmotivated because the things that we're doing are maybe things that actually, they don't give us that like burning desire or that spark that lights us up, so to speak, right? And so it's important for us to always kind of reconnect and realign with that spark that gives us that motivation. So that's why I have a couple of journal prompts here, right? And I want you to start thinking about what you love. Identify what you love, and I want you to do more of it. And this is the same recommendation I always give for exercise too. Like, if exercising is something that you want to kind of incorporate more of, ask yourself why you don't like it. And sometimes, like I had a clarity call with someone yesterday, and as soon as I brought up kind of exercise, it was like, oh, I don't want to do that. And I think it's because they had an attachment to exercise, like it had to be a certain way. And exercise doesn't have to be a certain way. Exercise is movement, right? Anything that kind of gets your blood flowing, and it is going to look like, it's going to look a little different for everyone else, especially in the beginning. But then what happens is that you improve over time and you get better, and it suddenly becomes easier. And so then you do more of it, right? So maybe you'll start off with some stretching, then you'll start off with some walking, then you'll start off with maybe like a hip hop class, then you'll start off with like, you know, something else, like maybe you'll add some dumbbells to it. So it's always going to be different in the beginning, but just do what you love and just, you know, do more of it so that we can have that time and we can, you know, have that consistent kind of like benchmark in our day that we know that we should be doing that particular item. So if you want to feel more motivated and happier, do more stuff that makes you happy every single day. And I know that sounds simple enough, right? But how many of us actually do that? How many of us actually spend time doing the things that light us up and make us happy? Because you feel like maybe it's expected of you. That's why we feel stuck, right? We think that we should be a certain way because maybe we were conditioned from our parents when we were younger, the certain jobs that we should be doing. I know that I definitely was. I definitely, you know, was brought up thinking that I should have this career, I should do this, like a certain like way of living, right? And that's what I was conditioned. And if I told them that I would have been an entrepreneur today, I think that they would have been like, what? Because they're very like play it safe, very like cautious. So they're in the entrepreneurial world is just like, you know, it's obviously it has its ups and downs and even like myself, but I was conditioned to think, okay, have a steady paycheck, have a steady job, you know, go after this, get married, all that stuff. And it's been a lot about doing what I love now, right? Because that's what lights me up. And that's where you do the things that you need to do, like where sometimes at night I'm staying up a little bit later when my whole family's asleep because this is what I love to do. This is what makes me happy as well, right? So like my whole family is upstairs sleeping, but here I'm doing this masterclass with you and, you know, sharing my thoughts because this is what lights me up. So find what that is and, you know, and do that, right? Because every single day you're filling other people's cup. Don't forget to fill yours as well. Okay. So no matter how many hats you're wearing, like we're all women here, how many hats you're wearing right now, think about how many things you're doing for other people or how many things you're doing because you should be doing it. How many of it is because you want to do it. Okay. So that could be one of the reasons why you're not feeling motivated. And I know it's definitely easier said than done. And we all live in a world right now where we're consuming more than we're creating. And we're all meant to create. We're all meant to do things that, you know, makes us, it requires a little bit of work. It requires us to, you know, do things that might make us a little bit uncomfortable. But guess what? Then afterwards, you get excited that you actually accomplished something like that, right? It's easy for us to be consumers because when we watch YouTube or we watch Netflix, if we're doing a passive activity, that requires very little effort from us. It requires us to not face our fears or face our self-doubt, and that we're, you know, we might be prone to consume because it's what others are doing. So we're socially conditioned, like I said, with, you know, we're kind of the byproduct of our childhood at a young age, and a lot of our current actions and behaviors are derived from the past as well, and we paved that, right? So if possible, you know, try to do less of what doesn't motivate you and more of what makes you happy. And then it makes you a lot more motivated. So what contributes to a good day, right? Are you spending time on a side project? Are you reading more? Are you exercising? Are you being social, right? So journal those things as we're going through. And the truth is we don't lack motivation, but we often set the wrong goals. Set the right goals for the wrong reasons, or we choose not to go after what we want due to fear. So like that's why goal setting is so important, right? And a lot of us probably, some of us maybe don't, you know, we might set goals for work, but we don't set maybe goals for ourselves, or we're not clear on them. So it's important for us to understand, you know, what do we want to do? What do we want to do more of? Those are things that are likely going to motivate us, and reconnect with your why, okay? Reconnecting with your why is so important. This is one of the exercises that I do have my clients do is, what is your why? It is the number one question I always ask. If you don't know what your why is, if you don't have a why that is greater than you, for you achieving your goals, for you being healthy, for you, you know, nourishing your mind, your body, like, then it's easy for us to not stay on track. Your why is something that is greater than you, right? It could be like you want to be, live long and strong so that you can be there for your whole entire family, maybe your future grandkids, like things like that. Like for me, it's definitely my family is my why. So reconnect with your why. That will be that little bit of driver that will get you where you need to go and keep you very focused on your goals. I know we're past the hour. I'm likely gonna go for another 20 minutes. So if you have to pop off, no worries. I will be keeping the recording up for about a week. So if you have to pop off, I totally understand. I know for some of you it might be late, but thank you so much so far for everyone who has joined me so far. I really, really, really appreciate it. So I want us to think about, kind of get into that headspace of what a motivation mindset is. And the secret is, like I said, that motivation is not, we should not be depending on motivation to get what we need done. It's great that we want to have that motivation, but that is not what is going to get us all the way, right? What's going to get us all the way is having that discipline, is having the willpower. And I know some of you may not want to hear that, right? That, that's what we need. But like I said in the very beginning, is getting what you need done. Getting that motivation is by getting the things that you need to get done. So what is that one thing that you can get done? And take that action. And don't be afraid that, your first version of anything is not going to be your best. Or that you got it done and you're, comparing it to something else that someone else has done, and maybe that's keeping you stuck. Because that's all just data, right? All of that's just data. The things that that in your mind, like all of that is just focus on what is real. Focus on what is real. Inspiration is what's actually going to get you there, right? So you're motivated by, the little things that you do, right? That's going to bring you momentum. That's going to give you the results, right? Bring in the 80-20 principle. Then, because of your consistency, you're going to build in your discipline. You're going to be more disciplined to do those things because you're getting better at it every single day. Because you're doing your self-care habits consistently, you are building that discipline. And then what happens is that you become inspired. Inspiration will eventually find you after that. Things will open up, opportunities will come up. Energetically, you will be inviting it in and looking out for it. The reticular activating system, which is that part of your brain that filters in what you want when you subconsciously, bring things into a conscious level where it's like, I want this, those clear goals, actually visualize it, do the little mini things that get you there. The discipline will take you to the next level, and then you get inspired. This is where mastering discipline becomes the more important than motivation, right? Discipline gets the job done no matter how you feel. Self-motivation, when you're self-motivated and you begin to do the work when you don't want to, and self-discipline will keep the process going long enough until inspiration sets in, okay? That's what I want to share with you. That is the motivation mindset. Self-motivated so that you could do the habits, you can carry on with the task when you don't want to. Self-discipline will keep the process going. And then what ends up happening is you end up mastering it. All these things that seem really hard right now, you end up getting better at it. You're going to get better at it, for sure. All right, here's a little bit of fill in the blank, okay? I'm going to go through things and take notes because this is I'm going to share with you. Hold on 1 second. Let's share with you over here. All right. So the first one, here's some more continuation of a motivation mindset that I want you to keep in mind, okay? Is to expect the unexpected. Motivation doesn't come to you. You got to create it internally. Okay, okay? So that's the first fill in the blank. Accept that you're not always going to be motivated and that thing needs to change. Most people feel unmotivated because they're confused with how motivation actually, works and progresses. But most of us are kind of just waiting for that magic wand to happen and that motivation is going to come our way. But we have to create it internally, right? That's how we get the things that we get done. Motivation is driven by willpower, like I just said. Willpower is a muscle that has to be trained. Like anything else, your mindset is a muscle that needs to be trained. So does willpower. The more you use that muscle, the stronger it actually gets. It becomes a lot more easier. Okay? Another reason is ask yourself why you're doing it, right? So this is very similar. When you are doing something, ask yourself, is it really helping you? Is it hindering you? And what are the reasons why you're doing it? Are you going to be able to achieve, make a big change from it? And what is that one goal that you can do every single day that will bring you closer to your goals? And those are some questions that you should be asking yourself every single day. Number 3 is to make your goal visible, okay? So here, I would suggest putting Post-it notes anywhere that you are around often. For me, it would be my computer, right? As to remind you what your goals are. Because we forget about our goals and dreams, and sometimes we need to be reminded of what it is. It's buried in the noise, in the echo chambers of our everyday life. So the more that you bring it to awareness, the more you don't lose sight of it, the more it's that reminder. It's like, okay, yes, I got this. This is why I'm doing it, right? Set reminders, put it up in frequent places, and just always go back to that. Another thing is to visualize it. So visualization is really huge. I know, some of you might think maybe it's a bit woo-woo, like to think that, if you visualize it, it's gonna happen. But really, I want you to look at visualization as a form of planning. It's a form of planning for us, right? Because when you visualize it, you actually see what you want in the future, and you make adjustments based on the stimulated outcome. Right? So here, you've seen it happen in your mind. Now it's just a matter of time and effort to come up with your expectations. Okay? You've seen it happen in your mind, so now it's just a matter of your time and effort to catch up to its expectations. Number 5 is find the first 2 steps you need to take, right? You have a goal, from the bottom of your heart what needs to happen to make it happen. You visualize it, stimulate it, to get you there. Then you're like, okay, where do I start? What do I do, right? That daunting list again, we get stuck in our tracks. We're like, okay, what do we do? This is where you're like, I don't want to do it. Maybe you procrastinate. Maybe and that's where you break down the process. You find 1 or 2 things that you can do right away, right? Got to be done. That's how you master self-motivation, is by doing those little things so that they could just snowball and snowball. And you pick up speed as you're doing it, right? So what are those first 2 goals? Maybe write it there. What are those first 2 steps, and then write it there. Every successful person has gone to where they are by mastering self-motivation and self-discipline, required to push you through the steps. And also by knowing how to plan correctly so they know which step to take. Okay? Stop me if you have any questions you want to ask. Let me know. I'm just making sure that I haven't missed anything so far. If you guys are still here with me, which I'm so happy you are, I will be wrapping up shortly, but I just want to go through, there's going to be a list of 15 that this is part of the motivation mindset that I want you to start thinking about that will help, drive you into some, inspired action, hopefully by the end of this masterclass, okay? So number 6 is to re-energize. Fix the energy levels that are in your body, right? Your body runs on fuel. You put in something that isn't good, that's shitty for your body, then your body's going to run poorly, right? You want to feel that motivation. You want to feel good about the things that you're doing. It has to happen by fixing the chemistry that's inside your body. You want to feel that motivation. You want to get things done. You want to get shit done. You fix what's inside so that it can function properly. Okay, so that means like, the sugar, the alcohol, the fats, all the things that are maybe like really dragging your system down, like those are the things that maybe you have to just like, okay, got to get rid of it because it is not making me function at a level that is here, that is required of me. So this is the level I need to do the things I need to do, but I'm here. So you're going to be just completing the things that are here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but like, right? So we got to make sure we fix what's inside so that we can pump up our levels so we can get to that expectation, right? What we saw when we visualized it, where we want to go, we need fuel for that. If you're a Ferrari, you can't put fuel, like really bad fuel in a Ferrari, right? You got to put the good stuff because you are a Ferrari. So also exercise is a celebration of what you can do more, not a punishment of what you ate. And I know sometimes that could be the link. People feel like, oh, I don't want to exercise or I'm only exercising because I ate this. Instead, look at it like I get to exercise. I have a very powerful body, a very strong body, and I get to wake up every single day and I get to move my body. That's what you should be thinking. That's the language that you should be shifting in your mind and in your head. Seven, focus on the progress over perfection and enjoy the process. How many of us are really fixated on the perfect way something should be done? And if it doesn't go the way that they want, it's like, forget it. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going to just derail the whole process and forget it. That's why you got to focus on progress. Because it is, here we are building a lifestyle. We are building, healthy habits we want to improve. And it is going to be about longevity. It's not going to be a quick fix. So we have to focus on the progress, not, a quick fix that's probably going to give you maybe like the results that you want in a short amount of time, but it's not going to last if it's not sustainable. So you got to enjoy the process. So the secret to getting work done is good enough. Why? Will always be better than perfect never. Okay? That's what number 7. The secret to getting everything done is that good enough why will always be better than perfect never. Number 8, remove roadblocks. What are some of the roadblocks you can commit to removing? We all have roadblocks in our life. Roadblocks are, by the way, what I call distractions. Those are the things that actually hinder you and they pull you away from your focused mindset. So what are the things that you could remove? Or, if you calendar things out and something important needs to get done, what are the things around that time that maybe you can do? Maybe it's locking your phone in another room. For me, my biggest distraction has to be my phone. So I make sure maybe I don't have my phone with me. Because I know as soon as I touch my phone, an hour is going to go by or something, right? So look at the things that you have to do, remove any roadblocks, especially if it hinders you from a goal that you need to get done. Number 9 is to create internal urgency. How many times you do something at work because you need to do it, because you're afraid of your performance being hindered or you getting fired? We have that deadline when it comes to things that we need to do at work, even if we don't want to do it, right? How many things that you do at work that you really want to do? We set an urgency for that over setting an urgency for the things that we need to do that make a positive impact in our life, because we're not going to get fired from it technically, right? If you miss a deadline at work, you're going to get fired at work. But if you miss a deadline in your life, what do you think will happen? Leave me a comment. Let me know. What do you think is going to happen? If you miss a gym workout, it's not going to show immediately. That's why we don't feel like it's going to be anything bad. It's okay if I have this, it's not going to affect me. But little things like that, small little habits actually make a huge impact at the end of the day. So we need to start looking at those things as almost the same way we would look like if we were at work and we didn't do something and we were afraid of being fired. Create that internal urgency. All right. So number 10, Okay, we are almost done. Number 10 is to schedule it for tomorrow. Start early, right? If you put the most difficult task at your priority list, it will give you the highest possibility of it getting done. And everything will follow that win and that big momentum. We want momentum. The momentum is what's going to bring us to the next thing. Number 11 is to give yourself grace. You know, sometimes we, like I said, we think that self-criticism is a great motivator, right? Like, oh, I didn't do it. Like, you know, that's your form of pushing yourself to do it, but it's actually doing the opposite. It's causing unnecessary stress. It's causing unnecessary guilt that will lead to inaction. Instead, we should turn things around and we should actually come from the place of self-compassion. Self-compassion allows you to normalize your personal circumstances by recognizing that imperfection is part of your journey. If we constantly are criticizing ourselves, it's negative upon negative upon negative upon negative. And that is what gets us stuck. We're buried with negativity that we say to ourselves. Right? These are things that we say to ourselves. No one's saying it about us, but we're saying it about ourselves. So always come back to the place of self-compassion so that, you know that you're doing your best, that no matter what happens, you are enough, and that it's okay because tomorrow there's always tomorrow, right? Number 12 is to be inspired. Like, we all have people that we look up to, that we want to be, we want to model. Research them. Like, literally, like, dissect them is what I would recommend. Success absolutely leaves clues. You see someone that's doing great things, dissect them. What are they doing? What are they doing right? What are their habits? What are they, entertaining in their life? And do that. A mentor is someone you want to be like, that you spend time dissecting and learning the ways that they're operating. That is what a mentor is. Number 13 is focused on the most important task, right? There's not a day that goes by without us doing something, even the littlest things, right? Some days we have important work. Some days we rest. But what's the one thing that you can do today that will have a positive effect on your future, right? The catch is that you do it every day. So pick something you can do consistently and do it every day if you can, okay? Number 14 is to reward and celebrate endlessly. What is the reward for working out? What is the reward for meal prepping? What is the reward for doing what you love? Celebrate your wins, because those are the reasons why you keep doing it. You gotta enjoy the process. You can't continue to do something if you absolutely dread the process, but if you celebrate and reward yourself after these moments, if you work out, if you get that workout in, right? You see yourself in the mirror. You love what you see. You feel more energy. That's your reward. You get to enjoy life. You get to live long. If you meal prep once a week, what's the reward? You get to put in nourishing things that fuel you. Doing what you love, doing the things that you appreciate, right? It helps you, lights you up every single day. It makes you more happier. And lastly, okay, we're at the last one. Do it for the people you love and remember to love yourself. So one of the very first, so I have the self-care systems. One of the very first things that we touch upon is self-love, right? You got to do it for yourself. Because if you're not doing it for yourself, then do it for the people that need you. But you always come back to yourself. Be strong for you. Be strong. That's your driving force for your loved ones. Okay? With the skills, the disciplines, the strategies I've outlined here, I believe that you can totally achieve any goals that you set your mind to. Any of them. And I hope that this gives you inspired action to do the things that you need to do. Even if you don't want to do it, There's always a way, even if it's just one thing that you can do and take on. And I want you to do that one thing, okay? And comment below what you're committed to doing. What's the one thing that you're committed to doing? I really hope that, you know, this class was helpful for you. I've included, you know, also here, I've included a planner for you to start writing out some of your goals and your priorities and your to-do list, right? My mentor actually calls her to-do list, which I really, really love, her to-be list, right? Like, what do you want to be? Do you want to be more focused? Do you want to be more grateful? Do you want to be more happy? We constantly always focus on the things that we need to do. Let's focus on how we want to be. Let's focus on how we want to feel, okay? So I'm wrapping up my presentation. So I want you to drop me a comment below in terms of what your biggest takeaways are, what you're committing to doing. I love it. Love it if you guys are still here. That's amazing. Let me know. I'm opening up my phone to see. I don't want to miss anything, but yeah, so I'm so happy for all those that stayed until the end. Thank you so much. I hope that you were able to get like nuggets of information here. You know, I know that if you're here with me right now, that you have a lot going on, right? But you have goals, you have burning desires you want to achieve. You want to feel a certain way, be confident in a way, and you want to constantly look, you know, at yourself and feel good about your life, right? But, you know, I want to share with you the way that you can do things that will also help you, you know, maybe escalate a little bit things more. Like maybe you're looking for, you know, a bit more of that like extra support, right? So like I hope that you're able to kind of get a lot of the things out of this masterclass. And if you are, and this is enough for you to kind of like walk away and do what you need to do, then amazing. I'm so happy that I'm able to provide you support in this class, and I wanted it to be very action-packed. So thank you so much for sticking around. But if you would like support and accountability and partnership and someone to really answer your questions and have like a specific formula to follow, right? Like a literal like blueprint in terms of how to build that strong body and create, you know, confidence in every aspect of your life, and how to create a healthy lifestyle that it does not feel like you are uprooting your entire life, then I would love for you to stick around and hear what I have to talk about in terms of a little bit about my program, in terms of what I do and the ways that we can work together. And, you know, I want you to skip over the years of waiting and thinking to yourself that you're just going to do it later, that, you know, the time is not right, that I feel guilty doing this for myself. I want you to walk away thinking that this is an investment on yourself, okay? And that whatever you're doing for your health is only going to benefit you and all those around you, okay? So I want to open up to you my Survive to Thrive Tribe, okay? It's my program right now. I'm offering, it is going to be about 8 to 12 weeks. I'm throwing in some bonus sessions. I'm opening enrollment for my group coaching, okay? And I'm going to be capping it at a certain number of people because I want it to be really intimate. Currently, right now, I have an inner circle of Survive to Thrive Tribe members who I work with exclusively one-on-one, and it is very high touch. I customize everything, but we talk about everything under my self-care system. And what my self-care system really is it is going through, you know, some steps when it comes to self-care. And so one of the reasons why I started my business is because I grew up with a mom who she neglected her self-care. She did not prioritize the things that made her happy. She, you know, like after having children, she really did live her life on autopilot a bit, and it really did take a toll on her health. And I was really determined growing up to not, you know, kind of always not lose sight of what makes me happy. And I wanted to always make sure that I maintained and up-leveled my health, and that I was always strong physically, and I didn't feel like I needed to like depend on anyone, that I was, you know, I always had that kind of demeanor, and also to have like a healthy lifestyle. And so that is the birth of my coaching business today, because I'm super passionate about helping other women achieve the same thing. I don't want women time and time again to put themselves at the bottom of the list when things get busy and when life gets thrown at them, because that's what ends up happening. We end up putting on multitudes of hats, especially, as we become a mom, or, we are trying to juggle our careers and trying to be a great wife or a great friend or a great sister and all these different things. And we end up forgetting about ourselves. And what I don't want happening is when we're like in our 50s or in our 60s, or, however we, come to this realization, it's like, oh, right? Like, what happened? Like, what am I doing? Or, I want us to be really intentional with our time. And that's how I came up with, the self-care system, right? So it's my 12-week group coaching program. For the group introductory, I will be making it 8 weeks, but we'll be kind of throwing in a couple of bonus sessions as well. And so this program has already helped a lot of people, right? So there's tons of different ways to work with me. I've already helped so many incredible, driven, compassionate women go after the life that they want. And it will help you not only elevate your health, but it's going to help you elevate every other aspect of your life as well, right? So my self-care system is, we go through each one of the steps that you see here. There's 4 pillars we go through. We spend a few weeks on mindset, a few weeks on, meals, a few weeks on movement, and a few weeks on mental wellness. And what's so special about my self-care system is everything is designed in a way that stacks on top of another in terms of, the lifestyles, of how to create sustainable lifestyles. And it all comes down to the foundational steps all the way to evolving to the next level you. So we'll focus on our self-love and our worth. We'll focus on the elevation of your thoughts. We'll focus on leading on nutrition, feeling your body, focus on calming your mind, activating your strength, resetting your cycle, and evolving to the next level you. I'm super passionate about self-care. Self-care to me are the things that make you happy. That's my definition of self-care. Things that make you happy, like the daily habits, even creating those healthy boundaries, that's my form of self-care too, or that me time in the morning, the things that all of us need to do, that is my form of it. And I want to help you achieve that motivation and that discipline and that inspiration I spoke about in today's masterclass, to reignite the things that keep you going and to make you feel fulfilled. And I am here for all that. And I'm here to help you to rediscover all of that, transform your life from the inside out, and achieve the happiness and the health that you've been looking for. And yes, it is possible to have it all. It is so possible. And this program is going to help get you there. We are going to go through, with our time together, 4 phases: mastering your mindset. I'm going to help you explore what radical self-love is. I'm going to help you create healthy boundaries, those boundaries that we talked about. Like, everything that we talked about here is only just a little bit of what we're going to dive into in this program. Okay, I'm going to help you, what are the steps to being the best version of yourself? We'll bring in your awareness, your limiting beliefs and your patterns. Those are the things that we're going to, find out what they are, bring it to your subconscious level, right? What are the things that are stopping you? What are the things that you're struggling with? Phase 2 is all about nourishing your body with mindful meals. I'll help you shift, out of the mainstream diet culture, things that you feel like you shouldn't be doing or restricting yourself from doing. Like, if someone tells me I can't eat that cake, I'm going to want to eat that cake, right? So we're going to break free from that culture of our cravings and finally focus on making empowered decisions on the things that we're putting into our body. Phase 3 is all about creating that massive momentum with movement and what that looks like. So I help you create consistent healthy habits, not only to help you build a strong body, but to also keep you energized, right? Feeling vibrant, happy, strong, and calm throughout the day, right? Stress is a huge one. We also tap into that. You'll learn how to leverage movement to help you achieve that calmness throughout your life, no matter what life throws at you. The final phase will be about reigniting with a spark to help you achieve unstoppable self-confidence. So reigniting with that spark that lights you up, like that is, completely the focus of the last phase about what is your purpose, what is your clarity, like what is it that you want, what are the goals. We focus on the mental wellness aspect of it, like what do you need for that, right? What's the foundation to achieve that? And over the course of 8 to 12 weeks, like I'll be, there will be group Q&A sessions. We'll have a beautiful community of tribe of women helping each other and, answering any questions that you may have. We'll be celebrating our wins together. We will be helping you with any roadblocks. We are there with you. We're not only there for you, we will be there with you. And the enrollment for the program will start on May 10th. And so you have up until from now until May 9th or 8th. I'm planning on closing the doors for that because I really want it to be an intimate group. I'm only capping it at a certain number of people because I want us to really, all of us kind of have we're at different parts of our journey. So I want to make sure that we address everything. So over our time together, I'll be jumping on twice. Every single week, I'll have a private Facebook group for this community. I'll jump on live at the beginning of the week, and it'll be like a momentum Monday. I'll share knowledge, I'll share experience, I'll give you actionable tips and actionable guides for you to carry on through the rest of the week. There will be videos, there will be exercises, there will be things in your self-care toolkit that will also help you along the way. And then we will jump on a call on right now we're doing it at, I haven't really confirmed the time yet, but I'm looking at Thursdays right now. We're going to jump on a call together just with our group, and we're going to get into action. We're going to answer questions. We're going to do all those things that I mentioned to you, but we're going to be with you so that you can bring what you're going through, what questions, what you're struggling with, so that we can tackle it together. So we're going to do that during the course of our time together. And, I got to tell you, the women that I've had, I was so grateful to work with so far have been amazing, and I have been able to get the results that they want, not only in a way that, is all about, some of them might come into the program with like a particular weight goal that they're trying to reach, but what they come out of it at the other end is way more than that, right? So this is kind of a synopsis of my program right now. So right now I am offering it at an introductory group coaching rate. For 8 to 12 weeks, it will be $597 Canadian right now for you to join. So that price will eventually be going up the next round. But right now you have the opportunity to enroll at an introductory group rate right now. So I would love to have you on board. And if you're still here with me right now and you would like to chat more, I will be doing a call. I could do a fitting call with you so that we can jump on the phone and you can actually see whether this is something that, works with you. Whether this is something that you're looking for, maybe you have some questions, maybe you have a particular situation that you're not sure whether this program will help you solve. I can get into all of that. We can actually jump on a call together. I've actually blocked off some time next week to do that. So Daisy, if you're still there, maybe you can drop the link to my Calendly link, and you can directly schedule a call with me there. And I'll be able to answer any questions that you have. So it's starting on the week of May 10th. So I'll probably have everyone there, in the group. Yeah, I'll probably close the enrollment by like May 7th, May 8th or so that we can get all the material that we need to get started. So thank you so much for spending this last hour and a half or, 100 minutes with me practically. I really, really, really appreciate your time. And I'm so excited, to be part of your self-care journey. I know that we are able to achieve so much together, and I'm so excited for you. Go ahead and take that workbook and get into some inspired action and stay motivated. I know if you have any questions or if you're joining the replay, don't forget to comment replay below. And don't forget to, let me know what your biggest takeaways are. And, you know, what is one thing that you're committed to doing and taking inspired action? All right. And I'll be putting a link to my calendar link so that you can book a time with me for a fitting call if you have any questions on whether this program is the right fit for you. So once again, it's about, I'm going to have it for 8 weeks, but there's going to be bonus sessions as well. So it's going to bring you to 12 weeks and we're going to dive deep together. And I'm really looking forward to getting to know you a lot more. And I'm so excited. So I'll continue to see you in this group. This recording will stay up for up until the enrollment closes, and then I'll be taking it down. So make sure that you watch or ask me any questions you want. I'll go back and I'll answer any questions. All right. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you, thank you, thank you.